I'm never meeting other people's expectations of me. Never good enough to be a religious leader. Not good enough to be a carpenter. Now not even good enough to be a fiancé. People are always talking about meeting the one. And I'd found her. She caught my eye the first time we met in Nazareth. Yeah, she was a bit younger than me, but that's how it was at the time. I couldn't stop thinking about her. And the way her face glowed. The way she spoke to me so softly. Her delicate skin that pressed against me as we hugged. But I tried. I really did. I really loved her. I cared for her. I pledged to marry her. And she said she loved me. I thought we were a match made in heaven. Why did she do this? Things always seem to go wrong around me. Maybe it's something wrong with me. Maybe I attract all this kind of rubbish. How am I meant to believe in myself when all this kind of stuff happens around me? Sorry, I should have really introduced myself. But you've probably not heard of me. Most people talk about my fiancée Mary these days. But this strange thing did happen to me. I should have really introduced where we are as well, shouldn't I? And this is my home. It's a bit average, I know, but I'm a bit of an average, boring bloke, really. I work hard at my okay job. So can I tell you a bit of a secret? A lot of people think I'm a carpenter. A bit of a confession. I'm not exactly. I'm more of an odd job man. At the local building site, mending a few things here, fixing a few things there. I'm a bit embarrassed because it's not really the career success I once dreamed of. And life is hard enough trying to support yourself, let alone trying to scrape together enough money to fund a wedding. See, people are always looking to me to do something, but I only ever seem to let them down. Then there's my family. My dad's called Jacob, though some people call him Heli. My culture just forever talking about where we come from and who we come from. It's always blah blah, the son of blah blah. Talk about living in your family's shadow all the time. You may have even heard of one of my ancestors, Eliakim. No? Well, he was an administrator in the expensive royal palace in Jerusalem. And there's me, I can only just about make it as a handyman. Maybe you've heard about my other relative, Hezekiah. He was king, and a good king at that. He helped the people of Yahweh worship Yahweh. He threw out the idols and stood up against Assyria. I may be related to him, but God would never use me in a way like that. Are you starting to see why I can never live up to my family's expectations? Then on top of it all, guess who else is in my family line? King David. You're like one of the greatest kings that the people of Israel have ever had. He grew the nation of Israel to a size that no man, no king has ever achieved since. He defended our land, looked after our nation, and he was truly a great king. But then, this strange thing happened to me. Well, I should probably tell you about my fiancée first. I could have probably coped with not quite being good enough at my job, or not quite good enough for my family. But now I'm not even good enough for her. You know when you meet that one person, you just feel so comfortable around them. They make you smile just like all the time. We had only been dating a little while, but we decided we were going to get married. I thought I was excited, but you just had seen her wedding preparations. Who was going to come, who was going to wear what would we eat. I've never seen her just so excited. See, I knew girls got excited, but not this excited. And then she fell pregnant. We hadn't even been together. So how on earth was she pregnant? As if that wasn't enough of a kick in the face, she had the audacity to claim it was the Holy Spirit that made her pregnant. Don't get me wrong, we all blame God for stuff. But really, this is pushing it a bit. What was I meant to do now? What would my friends think? What would they say at work? What would my family say? She had disgraced me, and to be honest, I wanted to disgrace her. You know what the punishment for doing what she did around here is? Stoning. And to be honest, she probably deserved it. There was me, a fool in love. I cared for her. I wanted to provide for her. I wanted to be the father of her children. Not whoever she had slept with. Who was he even? How dare he sleep with my woman? And how dare Mary sleep with someone else? She's broken my heart. It's that terrible knot in your stomach. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Just everything felt numb and dull. Everything just dragged on and on. I loved her though, like I still loved her. I couldn't see her go through that kind of public disgrace. Maybe I'll just divorce her quietly. Yeah, maybe if we just ended it on the sly. Then maybe in a few years I could get over it. Get over her. We could just move on, but pretend it never happened. Yeah, that was it. That's what I was going to do. I still was quite not sure how I was going to get rid of all my hurt. I just wanted to live up to people's expectations of me. I just wanted to be good enough for Mary. Then I found myself sitting in a cold, damp, dark room, running my hands through my greasy hair, just fed up with life. The place had begun to stink, to be honest, but I couldn't be bothered to clear it up, not with all this going on. I just sat there considering, stressing over everything. Then the weirdest thing happened. A messenger of God appeared. Alright, don't laugh. I didn't believe Mary when she said it happened to her either. He addressed me, Joseph, son of David. Alright, I thought. I'm struggling enough at the moment. You don't need to bring up my family's history. The messenger from God continued, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. Great, now I was taking dating advice from an angel. But this messenger continued, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. Now this caught my attention. Well, that's the same story that Mary told me. Mary had said it was the Holy Spirit that had made her pregnant. The angel's not exactly answering all my questions, but maybe there was something happening here. Maybe Mary was telling the truth. Or was I just fooling myself? Or was I just so stressed out from work, so tired from eating, so tired from not sleeping, that I was just imagining this encounter? Then the angel went on. She will give birth to a son. Oh great, what a genius from heaven this is. Of course she was going to give birth. She was pregnant. And you are going to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. See, I said something weird had happened to me. And then it hit me. This is what all these prophets have been talking about for all these years. See, I was a regular synagogue attender, but I can't say I understood everything that happened in there. A lot of the talks didn't really make sense to me. But I remember the saying from one of the prophets, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel. But no, surely not us. Surely not me and Mary. God had used all these people around me before. They had achieved great things. They had been men of God, but I certainly was not one. God was not going to suddenly turn around and use me. Was he that desperate? But I couldn't shake what had happened. It hit me again, causing a burst of excitement to run through my veins. His name would be Emmanuel, God with us. I realised it wasn't about my average life, the average things that I had achieved and the things I had not achieved. Because let's be honest, I had not done anything that qualified for a messenger of God to come and speak to me. And nor was it about attempting to live up to my family's expectations. Yeah, God had done amazing things in their generations. But God was doing a new thing here and now. Possibly with me. Me and Mary. Maybe Mary did love me. Maybe we were being called to be together. Maybe Mary wasn't lying after all. It was all beginning to make sense. It was Emmanuel, God with us. It was this time, this place, this lowly, rubbish, useless person God was using. At last I realised it wasn't about me. It was about God coming to be with us. Maybe Jesus, could I call him my son? would live the life that I had never lived. Maybe he would achieve things, some things that I could never achieve. This story, my story, had clearly only just begun. If all this happened just for Jesus' birth, then what kind of life was he going to lead? I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, but I was certainly going to find out. But what was I to do now? I was to love Mary. I was to call our baby Jesus. And I was going to try and follow God. See, I reckon I could give that a go. And let's just see where this story goes.